Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into Cheating Tales Lab. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know, what part of the world are you watching from right now? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Quiet Life and a Growing Distance. James Morrison straightened his tie as he faced his students, his voice carrying across the classroom with the practiced ease of a seasoned teacher. At 34, he commanded respect without demanding it, his passion for history infectious as he guided his high school students through the intricacies of the Civil War. Think about the impact of personal betrayal on historical events, he said, writing key points on the whiteboard. How many wars started because someone broke trust? A student in the front row raised her hand. Like when Benedict Arnold betrayed the Continental Army? Exactly, Sarah. James nodded, unaware of the irony in discussing betrayal while his own life teetered on the edge of a similar precipice. One person's actions can trigger a cascade of events that change everything. After class, James sat at his desk, grading papers with meticulous attention. The debate club meeting notes lay beside him, already organized for tomorrow's session. His classroom walls displayed historical maps and student projects, a testament to 15 years of dedicated teaching. His phone buzzed, a text from Olivia, "Working late again. Don't wait up." James typed back, "No problem. Love you." He waited for her response, but the message remained unread. These late nights had become increasingly frequent over the past 2 years, coinciding with Olivia's promotion at Evergreen Solutions. James remembered when they first met in college. She was the vibrant art major who painted murals in the student center, while he was the history buff who could spend hours discussing ancient civilizations. They'd fallen in love over coffee and conversations about Renaissance art meeting historical contexts. Now, at 32, Olivia had transformed. Gone were her paint-stained jeans and spontaneous weekend road trips. Instead, designer suits and urgent business meetings filled her life. James noticed the changes gradually, the expensive perfume replacing her familiar vanilla scent, the new haircut that cost more than their monthly grocery budget, the constant phone notifications that made her jump. That evening, James prepared dinner anyway, her favorite lasagna recipe learned from her mother. The kitchen counter held fresh ingredients, and he worked, layering pasta and sauce. The house felt empty without her presence, their once shared cooking sessions now a solo activity. The phone rang. It was Mike, his fellow history teacher. "Hey, James, want to grab a beer?" Sarah's poetry reading got canceled. "Thanks, but I should wait for Olivia. She might finish early tonight." Mike's pause spoke volumes. "Man, when's the last time she actually came home for dinner?" "She's busy with the new marketing campaign," James defended, though doubt crept into his voice. "Preston's got the whole team working overtime." "Preston Hayes?" Mike's tone sharpened. "The CEO who hit on my wife at last year's Christmas party?" James remembered that party, his only meeting with Preston. The CEO had dominated the room with his presence, his expensive suit and practiced charm drawing attention. When Preston had shaken James's hand, his grip had been too tight, his smile too practiced. "Sarah said he's got a reputation," Mike continued. 3 divorces, all because he couldn't keep his hands off his employees. "Olivia's different," James said firmly. "She's professional. She wouldn't." "I hope you're right, buddy. Just keep your eyes open." After hanging up, James wandered their house, noticing details he'd overlooked. Olivia's side of the closet had expanded, new designer labels replacing her old clothes. Her dresser held an unfamiliar cologne bottle, probably a client gift, she'd said when he asked. He found himself in their home office, where Olivia's laptop sat closed. Their shared password, First Date Coffee 2010, no longer worked. When had she changed it? The front door opened at 11. Olivia entered, her heels clicking against the floor. Her navy suit looked immaculate despite the late hour, her makeup perfect. "You didn't have to wait up," she said, dropping her keys in the bowl. "I made lasagna," James replied. "Your mom's recipe." Olivia's expression flickered. "I already ate. Client dinner. With Preston?" Her head snapped up. The whole team was there. "Why?" "No reason." James studied her face. "How's the campaign going?" "Fine. Look, I'm tired. I'm going to shower and head to bed." As she passed, James caught that unfamiliar scent again. Masculine, expensive. Not the type of cologne found in client gift baskets. "Olivia," he called after her. "Are we okay?" She paused on the stairs. "Of course we are. Why wouldn't we be?" "You've changed." "I've grown," she corrected. "My career is taking off. I thought you'd be supportive." "I am, but you're never home. We barely talk. When's the last time we had dinner together?" "I'm doing this for us," she snapped. "The promotion means we can afford that house you wanted, the one with the library you've dreamed about." "I never wanted a bigger house. I wanted—" "What, James? What do you want?" "My wife back." Olivia's expression hardened. "I'm right here. I'm just not the same college girl you married. People change. Either accept that or—" She left the sentence hanging and disappeared upstairs. The shower started running, and James sat alone in the kitchen, staring at the cold lasagna. The next morning, Olivia left before dawn for an early meeting. James found a receipt in the kitchen trash, dinner for two at Le Petit Jardin, charged to her corporate card. The timestamp read 7:45 p.m. He pulled out his phone and researched Preston Hayes. Articles praised his business acumen, but comment sections told different stories. Sexual harassment allegations quietly settled, former employees bound by NDAs, a string of affairs with marketing executives at various companies. James's hands tightened on his phone. He'd always been the understanding husband, the supportive partner. But as he read about Preston's history, something shifted inside him. The mild-mannered history teacher felt a coldness settle in his chest. If Olivia was betraying him, if Preston had targeted his wife, they'd learn a crucial lesson. James Morrison wasn't just a teacher of history, he was a student of it. And history showed that the quiet ones, when pushed too far, proved the most dangerous. He opened his laptop and began documenting everything. Olivia's late nights, the receipts, the changes in behavior. Each detail entered into a password-protected file. If his suspicions proved correct, he'd need evidence. And if Preston Hayes thought he could destroy James's marriage without consequences, he'd learn why betrayal had started wars. The James who believed in second chances, who saw good in everyone, began to fade. In his place, a harder man emerged. One who understood that trust, once broken, became a weapon. And he intended to be armed. Chapter 2. The Unraveling Threads. The faculty lounge buzzed with conversation, but James sat apart, picking at his lunch while scrolling through text messages. Each one from Olivia followed a pattern. Working late, client emergency, rain check on dinner? Earth to James, Sarah Matthews, the English teacher, waved her hand before his face. "You've been staring at your phone for 10 minutes. James locked the screen, forcing a smile. "Just checking messages." "From Olivia?" Sarah's tone carried concern. "How is she?" "We haven't seen her at faculty events lately." "Busy with work," James replied automatically, the excuse worn smooth from repetition. "At that marketing firm? The one run by Preston Hayes?" Sarah hesitated. "My sister worked there briefly. She said—" "Said what?" "Nothing concrete. Just rumors about Hayes. The way he treats female employees." James's jaw tightened. "What kind of rumors?" "The usual, promotions tied to private meetings, business trips that aren't strictly business." Sarah touched his arm. "James, I'm sure Olivia wouldn't." "No, she wouldn't." He cut her off, standing abruptly. "I need to prepare for next period." In his classroom, James pulled up Evergreen Solutions' website. Preston Hayes smiled from the About Us page. Silver-haired, expensive suit, practice charm in every pixel. The Our Team section showed Olivia's photo, her professional biography listing achievements since joining the company. Her smile looked different now, polished and distant. James's phone buzzed. Another text from Olivia. "Emergency strategy session. Don't wait up." He opened their shared banking app. Restaurant charges, boutique purchases, spa visits, all during supposed work hours. A pattern emerged, and with it, a cold fury began to build. That evening, he drove to Evergreen Solutions' office building. The parking lot was nearly empty at 8 p.m., but Olivia's car wasn't there. He called her cell. "Hey, where are you?" He kept his voice casual. "At the office, like I said." Strategy session. In the background, he heard music, clinking glasses, not office sounds. Funny, his tone remained level. I'm in the parking lot. Your car's not here. A pause. I carpooled with the team. We're at a client venue. Which venue? James, I can't talk right now. I'll explain later. The call ended. James sat in his car, hands gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. He opened his laptop, accessing the GPS tracking app he'd installed on her phone weeks ago. The location showed Le Meridian Hotel downtown. The next day, he visited Evergreen's office during lunch. The receptionist, Maya, recognized him from company events. Hi, James. Here to surprise Olivia? Yes, brought her favorite lunch. He held up a bag from their usual deli. Maya's smile faltered. Oh, she's out. Client meeting all day. Really? She didn't mention it this morning. Maya shifted uncomfortably. It was last minute. Mr. Hayes needed her expertise on. On what, Maya? I shouldn't. I mean, it's confidential. James leaned forward. Maya, how long have you worked here? 2 years. And in those 2 years, how many client meetings has Preston Hayes had with female executives? Maya's eyes widened. She glanced around, then whispered, I'm not supposed to talk about. You don't have to. Just, if you were me, what would you want to know? Maya bit her lip. Check the Meridian Hotel. Room expenses get filed under client entertainment. That's all I can say. James nodded, sliding her his business card. If you ever need a reference for a new job, thanks. She hesitated. James? I'm sorry. That night, Olivia returned late again. James sat in the dark living room, waiting. God, you scared me. She jumped when she saw him. Why are you sitting in the dark? How was the client meeting? Fine. Productive. She set down her briefcase. I'm tired. Can we talk tomorrow? Was the Meridian's bed comfortable? Olivia froze. What? The hotel? Where you had your meeting with Preston? You're spying on me? You're cheating on me. That's ridiculous. Preston is my boss. We had a legitimate business. In a hotel room? James stood. Do all your legitimate business meetings involve his cologne on your clothes? You're paranoid. But her hand trembled as she gripped her briefcase. This job is important to me. If you can't handle my success? James laughed coldly. Is that what you call sleeping with your married boss? You don't understand anything about business, Olivia snapped. Sometimes networking requires... Networking? The word came out like poison. Is that the corporate term for adultery now? I'm not having this conversation. She turned toward the stairs. Maya told me everything. Olivia stopped. What? About Preston's client meetings. About the hotel expenses. About all the women before you. She had no right. So it's true. James's voice was deadly quiet. You're just another notch on his belt. It's not like that. Preston values me. He sees my potential. He sees an easy target. A willing fool. Olivia whirled on him. At least he appreciates me. When's the last time you saw me as more than just your comfortable, predictable wife? While you're teaching the same lessons year after year, I'm building something. I'm growing. You're destroying everything we built together. Maybe what we built wasn't enough. The words exploded from her. Maybe I wanted more than grading papers and Friday night pizza. Maybe I wanted passion, excitement. And Preston provides that? In hotel rooms between meetings? Her slap echoed in the quiet house. James caught her wrist before she could pull back. That's your only freebie, he said softly. Try it again, and you'll learn exactly how predictable I'm not. He released her, and she stumbled back, suddenly uncertain. This wasn't her mild-mannered husband. The man before her had steel in his eyes. James, pack a bag. Go to your lover, your hotel, wherever. Just get out. You can't just. I already have proof of everything. Receipt, hotel stay, lie. So yes, I can just, and I will. Are you threatening me? James smiled, and Olivia took another step back. She'd never seen him smile like that before. Threatening? No. I'm promising you something, Olivia. You and Preston thought you could play me for a fool. Thought the quiet teacher wouldn't notice, wouldn't fight back. That was your first mistake. What are you going to do? You'll see. Now, get out of my house. She fled upstairs, grabbed some clothes, and left. James watched her car disappear into the night. Then he opened his laptop and began composing emails to divorce lawyers, to Preston's wife, to Evergreen's board of directors. The nice guy was gone. In his place stood a man who understood that revenge, like history, required careful planning and perfect timing. And he had all the time in the world. Chapter 3. The Damning Truth. The GPS tracker blinked steadily on James's laptop screen, marking Olivia's car's position at the upscale airport's parking structure. He'd installed it 3 days ago, after finding a boarding pass stub in her purse, a flight to Florida he wasn't supposed to know about. His phone rang. Eleanor Hayes, Preston's wife. I got your email, she said without preamble. The evidence you mentioned? I have everything, James replied. Flight records, hotel receipts, credit card statements. Your husband isn't as clever as he thinks. And my private investigator confirmed it all. Eleanor's voice held cold fury. They're at the Oceanic Resort in Palm Beach. Preston told me he was at a technology conference in Seattle. Olivia claimed it was a marketing retreat in Chicago. James pulled up the resort's website. 5-star accommodations on the company card. Quite the retreat. I want to destroy him, Eleanor said. Not just divorce him, destroy him. Are you in? James thought about the years he'd spent building a life with Olivia, the trust she'd shattered, the lies she'd told while sleeping in another man's bed. I'm in. When do we start? I've already frozen our joint accounts and contacted our board members. Preston's been embezzling company funds to finance his affairs. Your wife isn't his first victim, but she'll be his last. James opened his documentation file. I have records of suspicious charge, unexplained absence. Dates, times, locations. Perfect. My lawyer will contact yours. We'll coordinate our attacks. Eleanor paused. James? They thought we were weak. Preston assumed I'd look the other way again, like I did with the others. Olivia believed you'd accept her lies. Their mistake. Yes. Meeting tomorrow? I have more evidence to share. Text me the details. James ended the call and accessed Olivia's credit card accounts. He'd added himself as an authorized user years ago, a privilege she'd forgotten about. Every charge painted a picture of betrayal. Expensive lingerie shops, high-end restaurants, boutique purchases that screamed desperation to fit into Preston's wealthy lifestyle. His phone buzzed with a text from Maya. Mr. Hayes and Olivia just requested reimbursement for a client dinner at La Maison Rouge. $847 for 2 people. James typed back. Keep tracking the expenses. I'll make it worth your time. It's not about money, Maya replied. He tried this with my sister last year. She quit rather than play his game. Olivia. She fell for it completely. James opened his browser and logged into their joint investment account. Olivia had been making withdrawals, small amounts at first, then larger sums as her affair progressed. Money that was meant for their future, spent on her secret life with Preston. A notification popped up, another credit card charge at the Oceanic Resort Spa. James screenshotted it, adding to his growing file of evidence. Each transaction, each lie, each betrayal fueled the cold anger building inside him. His phone rang again. Mike from school. James, man, I just saw something you need to know about. What is it? Sarah and I were at Vincenzo's for dinner. Guess who was there last week? Preston Hayes, all over some woman at a corner table. The waitstaff was talking about it. Let me guess, brunette, green eyes, wearing an emerald pendant? Yeah, man, I'm sorry. We tried to tell you about Hayes. Don't be sorry. James's voice was steel. Be useful. I need the restaurant's security footage. My cousin handles their systems. Give me an hour. James hung up and pulled out a fresh notebook. He began mapping connections, Preston's board members, Olivia's colleagues, every person who might know something useful. Each name a potential weapon in his arsenal. He logged into their home security system, accessing archived footage. There, Olivia sneaking in at 3 a.m. last month, disposing of restaurant receipts in the outdoor trash. And there, Preston's car idling at the end of their street, picking her up for another business meeting. His laptop pinged, an email from Eleanor Hayes's private investigator. Photos of Preston and Olivia entering the Oceanic Resort, his hand possessively on her lower back. More photos of them at the hotel bar, his wedding ring conspicuously absent. James's phone lit up with a credit card alert. Decline transaction at the Oceanic Resort's restaurant. He'd been waiting for this moment, knowing Olivia would eventually max out her cards on her fantasy vacation. Right on cue, his phone rang. Olivia's number. James. Thank God. My cards aren't working. Something's wrong with the accounts. Something's wrong with a lot more than the accounts. What? Look, I need you to transfer some money. I'm in an embarrassing situation here. At the Oceanic Resort? With Preston? He heard her sharp intake of breath. Tell me, does his wife know where he is? James, it's not what you think. Really? Because I have photos of exactly what it is. Would you like me to forward them to your parents? Your boss's wife? The board of directors? You wouldn't dare. The Olivia I married wouldn't have dared to sleep with her married boss. But here we are. Please, her voice cracked. I can explain everything. Save it for your lawyer. Oh, and Olivia? Tell Preston to check his company email. Eleanor's private investigator found some interesting transactions he'll want to know about. He hung up, silencing her subsequent calls. His phone buzzed with text messages. James, please don't do this. We can talk about this. You're ruining everything. The last message made him laugh, a cold, harsh sound in the empty house. He wasn't ruining anything. They'd done that themselves, one lie at a time. His doorbell rang. Eleanor Hayes stood on his porch, holding a thick folder. Ready to begin? She asked. James stepped aside to let her in. They wanted to play games. Let's show them how it's done. Eleanor spread documents across his dining room table, bank statements, hotel receipts, photos, email printouts, evidence of Preston's past affairs, his financial misconduct, his abuse of company resources. The board meeting is Monday, she said. Once they see this, keep Preston's focus on the board. James nodded. I'll handle Olivia. She'll try to paint herself as the victim. Let her try. James's smile was glacial. I've got proof of lie, betrayal, dollars she stole from our future to finance her affair. By the time I'm done, her victim story won't save her. Eleanor studied him. The quiet ones are always the most dangerous when pushed too far. History teaches us that. James agreed. And I'm a very good history teacher. They spent hours planning, strategizing, sharing information. Two betrayed spouses becoming architects of destruction. When Eleanor left, James sat at his computer, composing emails that would shatter Olivia's carefully constructed world. The mild-mannered teacher was gone. In his place sat a man who understood that revenge, like warfare, required patience, precision, and absolute commitment. Olivia and Preston had gambled with other people's lives and hearts. Now they would learn the cost of losing that gamble. James looked at their wedding photo on the wall, the last reminder of the man he used to be. He took it down, placing it in a box with other memories of their life together. That life was over. A new chapter was beginning. He opened his laptop and began to write, documenting everything. Detail, betrayal, piece of evidence. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about justice. And James Morrison, the man they'd mistaken for an easy target, would teach them both a lesson they'd never forget. Chapter 4. The Phone Call and the First Strike. James sat in his study, watching the credit card transactions update in real time on his laptop screen. He'd calculated the exact moment Olivia's cards would hit their limits, right around dinner time at the resort's premium restaurant. A notification popped up, decline transaction at Ocean Blue Restaurant, $478. His phone rang. Olivia's name flashed on the screen. James? Thank God you picked up. Her voice trembled with barely contained panic. Something's wrong with my cards. They're all declined. Are they? James's voice remained neutral, controlled. How inconvenient. I need you to transfer some money right now. This is humiliating. I'm at dinner with, she caught herself. With Preston? James leaned back in his chair. Your married boss who told his wife he's at a technology conference in Seattle? Silence crackled over the line. Then, how did you? No? I know everything, Olivia. The hotel receipts, the spa appointments, the lingerie shops. Did you think I wouldn't notice the money disappearing from our accounts? James, please, I can explain. To me? Or to Eleanor Hayes? Because she's very interested in hearing about her husband's business trips with his marketing executive. You wouldn't dare. Olivia's voice hardened. You'll ruin everything. James laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. That's the point. Tell Preston to check his phone. Eleanor's lawyer just sent him some interesting documents. James, wait. He ended the call, watching as more messages flooded in. Please don't do this. We need to talk. You're making a terrible mistake. James opened his email, clicking send on a carefully crafted message to Eleanor Hayes. Attached were photos, receipts, and GPS data proving Preston's whereabouts. Within minutes, his phone rang. It's done. Eleanor's voice held satisfied steel. I forwarded everything to the board members. Preston's secretary just called. He's having a meltdown in his hotel room. How's the tech conference in Seattle? James smirked. Apparently, Palm Beach has better weather. Eleanor paused. My lawyer filed the divorce papers an hour ago. The media will have it by morning. Perfect timing. I just canceled all of Olivia's cards and froze our joint accounts. They're trapped in that luxury resort with no access to funds. James. A new edge entered Eleanor's voice. Preston's always gotten away with this behavior. His money and connections protected him. But not this time. No, James agreed. This time he picked the wrong people to betray. His phone buzzed. A text from Maya at Evergreen Solutions. Mr. Hayes is calling the office in a panic. He's demanding emergency fund transfers. Keep me updated, James replied. Then to Eleanor. The noose is tightening. Meet me tomorrow? I have more evidence you'll want to see. Send me the location. James ended the call and pulled up the resort's security feed, a hack courtesy of one of his former students now working in cybersecurity. He watched Olivia pace the luxury suite, phone pressed to her ear, presumably trying to reach Preston. His wife's betrayal had awakened something in him, a cold, calculating precision that surprised even him. He opened his laptop and began composing emails to Evergreen's board members, carefully selected media contacts, and industry insiders. Each message contained damning evidence of Preston's misconduct and financial impropriety. But more importantly, each revealed the CEO's pattern of preying on female employees. His phone chimed. Another message from Olivia. They won't let us check out without payment. Please, James, this is cruel. He typed back. Cruelty is betraying someone who loved you. Consider this your first lesson. Chapter 5. The Seeds of Chaos. The local news website's headline screamed, Evergreen Solutions CEO in sex scandal. Board calls emergency meeting. James sipped his coffee, watching the story spread across social media. His anonymous tip to the city's most aggressive investigative reporter had worked perfectly. The article detailed Preston's history of inappropriate relationships with employees, complete with financial records showing suspicious expenses. His phone rang. Eleanor Hayes. The board is meeting in an hour, she said without preamble. Preston's trying to dial in from Florida, but his access codes have been revoked. How did that happen? James asked innocently. Someone may have informed IT about potential security breaches. Eleanor's satisfaction was palpable. The same someone who sent evidence of financial misconduct to our biggest shareholders. Convenient timing. Very. My lawyer's presenting the divorce papers to the board, including proof that Preston used company funds to finance his affairs. James opened his email, finding dozens of messages from Evergreen employees. His anonymous tip line was working. Mr. Morrison, one read, I worked with Olivia. We all knew about her and Preston. He did this before, promoted women who played along, demoted those who refused. Some of us have documentation. Another, Preston Hayes harassed my sister until she quit. We have emails. James forwarded everything to Eleanor's lawyer and his media contacts. The story grew, morphing from a simple affair into a pattern of corporate misconduct and abuse of power. His phone buzzed. Maya again. Olivia's trying to access emergency company funds. Should I accidentally send those requests to the board? Make sure they see everything, James replied. He opened his tracking app. Olivia's phone showed her and Preston attempting to leave the resort, probably heading for the airport. But James had planned for this. A text from his contact at the airport's security. Their tickets have been flagged. TSA's been alerted about potential financial crime suspects. James dialed Eleanor. They're running. Let them try. I've frozen all our accounts, canceled his cards, and alerted our banks about potential fraud. He's got nothing. How's the board meeting? Preston's screaming on speakerphone, threatening everyone. It's not going well for him. Eleanor's voice held grim satisfaction. 3 female board members just submitted formal complaints about past harassment. James checked his email. More messages poured in from Evergreen employees past and present. Each one detailed Preston's misconduct, creating a damning pattern spanning years. His phone chimed. A message from Olivia. The airport won't let us through security. What have you done? He didn't respond. Instead, he forwarded another batch of evidence to the media. Preston Hayes's carefully constructed empire was crumbling, one revelation at a time. A call came in from an unknown number. Preston Hayes himself. Morrison. Preston's voice shook with rage. Call off your attack dogs. Attack dogs? I'm just a simple teacher. You're the powerful CEO. I'll destroy you for this. James laughed coldly. With what power? Check the news, Preston. Your board's voting right now on your removal. Your shareholders are dumping stock. Your reputation's in tatters. I have connections. Had connections. Amazing how quickly they disappear when people learn who you really are. Listen to me. You pathetic. No, you listen. James's voice turned to ice. You thought you could take whatever you wanted. My wife. My marriage. My trust. Now I'm taking everything from you. Your wife came to me willingly, Preston sneered. She was bored with her simple teacher husband. Thank you for that recording, James interrupted. I'm sure Olivia's parents will be interested in hearing how you talk about their daughter. Goodbye, Preston. He ended the call and sent the recording to his growing evidence file. His phone immediately lit up with Olivia's number. What did you say to Preston? She demanded. He's blaming me for everything. Actions have consequences, Olivia. You chose this path. I didn't choose to be stranded and humiliated. The hotel's threatening to call the police over the unpaid bill. That sounds like a problem for you and your married boyfriend to solve. James, please. Her voice cracked. I made a mistake. We can talk about this, like you talked to me about sleeping with your boss? About spending our savings on hotel rooms and lingerie? About destroying our marriage? I'm sorry. No, you're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. James's voice remained calm, controlled. Check your email. I sent you something interesting. He heard her phone ping, followed by a sharp intake of breath. He'd sent her the growing news coverage, the social media storm, the evidence of Preston's pattern of affairs. You're just another notch on his belt, James continued. Another disposable conquest. How does it feel to destroy your life for a man who's already moving on? What do you mean? Check his text messages to his secretary. The ones arranging meetings with the new marketing intern. I sent those too. Olivia's sob caught in her throat. You're lying. Like you lied? At least I have proof. Speaking of proof, your mother called. She's seen the evidence. All of it. My mother? James, no. Actions have consequences, he repeated. You played with fire, Olivia. Now burn. He ended the call, turning back to his computer. More news outlets had picked up the story. Preston Hayes's carefully constructed world was imploding in real time, taking Olivia down with it. Chapter 6. The Noose Tightens. James stood in his kitchen, watching Olivia approach the house. She'd managed to return from Florida, probably using Preston's last functioning credit card. She looked different now. Designer clothes wrinkled, makeup smeared, the polished executive facade cracking. She rang the doorbell repeatedly. James let her wait. I know you're in there, she called out. We need to talk. He opened the door but blocked the entrance. About what? About what you've done. The news stories, the board meeting, Preston's resignation. You mean the consequences of your actions? Our marriage. ended when you chose to sleep with your boss. Olivia's composure cracked. I made a mistake. Preston manipulated me. Did he manipulate you into hotel rooms? Into spending our money on your affair? Into lying to my face? Please, let me explain. Like you explained the late nights? The business trips? The client meetings in hotel rooms? James's voice remained eerily calm. I have the receipts, Olivia. All of them. What do you want from me? Nothing. You're worth nothing to me now. He handed her an envelope. Divorce papers. My lawyer expects your response within 48 hours. Divorce? James, we can work through this. Read the terms carefully, especially the part about adultery and financial misconduct. I documented everything. You'll destroy me. You destroyed yourself. I'm just making sure you face the consequences. His phone buzzed. Eleanor Hayes calling. He answered, maintaining eye contact with Olivia. It's done, Eleanor said. The board voted unanimously. Preston's out, effective immediately. No severance, no benefits, no golden parachute. Excellent. How's the media coverage? Getting worse by the hour. 3 more women came forward with harassment claims. Olivia's face paled as she listened to the conversation. Your things are packed, James told her after ending the call. They're in storage. You have 48 hours to collect them before they're donated to charity. You packed my things? Actually, I sold anything you bought with our joint funds. The money's been deposited in a new account, one you can't access. You had no right. Like you had no right to spend our savings on hotel rooms with Preston? James's smile was razor-sharp. Check your credit report, by the way. I reported several charges as fraudulent. Your financial future looks challenging. You can't do this to me. I already have. Your belongings, your job, your reputation, they're gone. Just like our marriage. I'll fight you. With what resources? Preston's too busy dealing with harassment lawsuits to help you. Your credit's ruined. Your new apartment application was mysteriously rejected. Even your parents won't take your calls. Tears streamed down Olivia's face. Why are you being so cruel? Cruel? James laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. I'm being methodical. You taught me that trust, once broken, becomes a weapon. Now I'm using everything you taught me. I loved you once. No, you loved the man you could manipulate. The trusting husband who believed your lies. James stepped back from the door. That man's dead. You killed him. The man who replaced him doesn't forgive betrayal. He closed the door on her protests, listening as her heels clicked down the driveway. His phone buzzed with messages, more evidence from Preston's former employees, updates from Eleanor's lawyer, news outlets requesting comments. The revenge machinery he'd set in motion was working perfectly. Preston Hayes, the untouchable CEO, was facing multiple lawsuits and potential criminal charges. Olivia, the ambitious executive, was unemployable in their industry. James returned to his study, updating his evidence files. He'd learned from history, document everything, leave no escape routes, ensure total victory. The mild-mannered teacher had transformed into something else, something colder, harder, unforgiving. His phone rang again. Eleanor Hayes. Preston's trying to access emergency funds, she reported. The banks flagged potential fraud. Right on schedule. How's the media coverage? Getting worse. The story's gone national. Women's rights organizations are involved now. Perfect. Send me the latest updates. I'll make sure they reach the right people. James ended the call and opened his laptop. More dominoes were waiting to fall. He'd learned the art of patience, the power of calculated revenge. Olivia and Preston had taught him well. Now they'd learn from their student. The man who believed in second chances was gone. In his place sat someone who understood that true power lay not in forgiveness, but in the ability to destroy those who betrayed you. Chapter 7. The Fall of Two Towers. The Evergreen Solutions boardroom buzzed with tension as Preston Hayes faced his final moments as CEO. Sweat stained his designer shirt as he watched the voting results appear on screen. Motion to remove Preston Hayes as Chief Executive Officer, effective immediately. 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstained, the board secretary announced. You can't do this, Preston sputtered. his usual charm replaced by desperate anger. I built this company, and now you've destroyed it. Eleanor spoke from her seat at the table. The shareholders have lost millions due to your misconduct. This is your fault. Preston pointed at Eleanor. You and that pathetic teacher. Mr. Hayes, the board chairman interrupted. Security will escort you out. Your access to all company resources has been terminated. Preston's phone buzzed. Another declined credit card notification. Eleanor had frozen their accounts, leaving him with nothing but the cash in his wallet. I have rights, he shouted as security approached. I'll sue all of you. With what money? Eleanor's voice cut like ice. Your personal accounts are frozen pending investigation into financial misconduct. The house is in my name. Your car lease has been terminated. James watched from the doorway, savoring Preston's downfall. He'd arranged to substitute teach at a nearby school just for this moment. You, Preston lunged toward him, but security grabbed his arms. You destroyed everything. No, Preston. You did that yourself. One affair, one lie, one betrayal at a time. Security dragged Preston out as he shouted threats and promises of revenge. His voice faded down the hallway, leaving behind the wreckage of his career. Meanwhile, across town, Olivia sat in her office, packing her personal items into a box. Human resources had been clear. Her position was terminated, effective immediately. Her phone displayed dozens of missed calls from Preston, all unanswered. He'd abandoned her the moment their affair became public, trying to save himself by claiming she'd manipulated him. Need help with that box? Olivia turned to find Maya in her doorway. Come to gloat? No, Maya replied. Just making sure you don't take anything that belongs to the company. Standard protocol for terminated employees. I built the marketing department. While sleeping with the married CEO, Maya finished. We all knew, Olivia. We watched you destroy other women's careers to protect him. I never. Sarah Mitchell. Remember her? Preston harassed her. You covered it up, then had her transferred to a dead-end position until she quit. Olivia's hands trembled as she packed her awards and photos. I was protecting the company. You were protecting yourself. Maya held up her phone, displaying an article about Preston's removal and Olivia's termination. How does it feel to be on the other side? Olivia's phone buzzed. Another job rejection. Her reputation was toxic now, her name synonymous with scandal. No company would touch her. At home, James sat in his study, monitoring the fallout. His phone lit up with a message from Eleanor. Preston's trying to access our vacation home. Police are waiting for him. Perfect, James replied. How's the divorce proceeding? My lawyer found offshore accounts. He's been embezzling for years. Criminal charges are next. James opened his laptop, checking the anonymous website he'd created. Dozens of Preston's former victims had come forward, sharing stories of harassment and manipulation. Each post added weight to the criminal investigation. His phone rang. Olivia's mother. How could she do this? Mrs. Chin's voice shook with anger. We raised her better than this. She made her choices, James replied calmly. The shame she's brought to our family. Her father won't even speak her name. She chose her path. Now she faces the consequences. Another call waited. His lawyer. The divorce papers are ready, Mark Thompson announced. Given the evidence of adultery and financial misconduct, we're seeking full separation of assets with punitive damages. Make it hurt, James instructed. She needs to understand what she's lost. He ended the call and opened his email. More job rejection notices for Olivia, forwarded from his contacts in various companies. Her employment prospects withered with each passing day. Preston's fall dominated local news. Business channels dissected Evergreen's stock plunge. Industry publications detailed his pattern of misconduct. His carefully crafted image crumbled under the weight of truth. James's phone buzzed again. A text from Olivia. My parents won't take me in. I have nowhere to go. He deleted it without responding. Let her feel the isolation she'd created. Chapter 8. The Creative Punishments. James adjusted his microphone, preparing for another podcast episode. His anonymous series, Betrayal's Price, had gained a massive following. Today we're discussing how affairs destroy more than just marriages. He spoke into the recorder. They destroy reputations, careers, families. Each episode featured stories from Preston's victims or Olivia's former colleagues. Today's guest waited nervously in the recording booth. Sarah Mitchell, thank you for sharing your story. James began. Tell us about your experience at Evergreen Solutions. Sarah's voice trembled slightly. Preston Hayes harassed me for months. When I complained to HR, Olivia Morrison buried the report. She told me I was imagining things, that I was hurting the company's image. And then, I was transferred to data entry. My projects were given to Preston's favorites. Eventually, I quit. How many others experienced similar treatment? Dozens. We all knew about Olivia and Preston. They protected each other while destroying anyone who threatened their secret. James nodded, though his audience couldn't see. And now they've lost everything. Karma, Sarah agreed. They thought they were untouchable. After the recording, James opened his laptop. The website he'd created, Evergreen's Victims, displayed hundreds of similar stories. Each post eroded whatever reputation Olivia and Preston had left. His phone buzzed. Another update from Eleanor. Preston tried accessing his broker account. Everything's frozen. He's sleeping in his car. James smiled coldly. The man who once commanded a boardroom now couldn't afford a hotel room. He opened his banking app, transferring more funds to various charities. Money from Olivia's sold possessions, now supporting domestic violence shelters and ethics in business programs. A notification popped up. Someone had posted new evidence on the website. Photos of Preston and Olivia at various hotels, dated timestamps proving their affair spanned years. His phone rang. The local news station. Mr. Morrison? We'd like to interview you about the Evergreen Solutions scandal. I prefer to remain anonymous, James replied. But I can connect you with other sources. We understand you're writing a book about workplace harassment and corporate corruption. Preston Hayes and Olivia Morrison will feature prominently. After the call, James visited his favorite tattoo artist. The words, "Never forget, never forgive," took shape on his arm, a permanent reminder of lessons learned. His phone lit up with a message from Maya. Olivia tried entering the building today. Security stopped her. She was crying about needing files from her office. Those files are evidence now, James replied. The investigation team has everything. He checked his surveillance app. Olivia's phone showed her at a cheap motel on the outskirts of town. Her credit cards were maxed out, her accounts empty. Preston's location pinged from a bar across town. His former friends ignored his calls, his country club membership revoked. James opened his laptop, composing the next chapter of his book. Each word exposed their betrayal, their manipulation, their downfall. His phone buzzed. Olivia again. Please, I'm begging you. Call off the lawyers. I can't afford to fight this. He screenshot the message, adding it to his evidence file. No response needed. Chapter 9. The Redemption and Closure. James stood before his history class, discussing the consequences of betrayal throughout time. Actions echo through history, he explained. One decision can destroy empires. A student raised her hand. Like that CEO in the news? The one who lost everything? James nodded. Preston Hayes thought power made him untouchable. He learned differently. After class, Cassandra Williams, the new English teacher, stopped by his room. Your story inspired my students, she said. They're writing essays about corporate ethics. The best lessons come from real examples, James replied. Their relationship had grown naturally. Cassandra understood his transformation, respected the strength he'd found through pain. His phone buzzed. Eleanor Hayes with updates. Preston's facing criminal charges. The forensic accountants found everything. How's he taking it? Badly. He tried contacting our children. They blocked his number. James checked his news alerts. Preston Hayes, once featured in business magazines, now appeared in crime reports. His fall from grace was complete. Another notification. Olivia had posted on social media. I've lost everything because of one mistake. Please, someone give me a chance. The responses were brutal. You mean because you slept with your married boss? Karma's real. Actions have consequences. James closed the app and opened his email. Speaking requests flooded his inbox. Universities wanting him to discuss corporate ethics, podcast seeking interviews about workplace harassment. His phone rang. Olivia's father. Mr. Chan? James. I. The older man's voice cracked. We raised her better than this. You did. She chose differently. She's sleeping on a friend's couch. All her things in storage. Her mother won't even say her name. Actions have consequences, Mr. Chun. She destroyed her life. I just made sure she couldn't hide from it. After the call, James drove to the tattoo parlor. The fresh ink on his arm served as a constant reminder. Never trust blindly, never forgive betrayal. His phone lit up, a message from his publisher. The manuscript is powerful. We're fast-tracking publication. James smiled. His story would reach others, help them recognize manipulation, prevent more victims. A final task remained. He assembled 2 packages, each containing copies of everything: bank records, hotel receipts, photos, phone logs, witness statements. The first package went to Preston's new address, a rundown apartment paid weekly in cash. Inside, James included a note. Power is temporary. Consequences are forever. The second package went to Olivia's motel room. Her note read, You chose this path. Now walk it alone. James returned home, where Cassandra waited with dinner. They'd created something new, a relationship built on honesty and strength. His phone buzzed one last time. Olivia's final message. I understand now. What I lost. What I destroyed. I'm sorry. James deleted it without response. The time for apologies had passed. The man who once wrote love poems and believed in second chances was gone. In his place stood someone stronger, someone who understood that true power lay in holding others accountable. His revenge was complete, not through violence or rage, but through calculated justice. Preston and Olivia had thought him weak, easily discarded. They learned too late that betraying a good man creates something dangerous. Someone who never forgets, never forgives, and never stops until justice is served. James closed his laptop, his documentation complete. The story was finished, but its lessons would echo. He had transformed from victim to victor, from betrayed husband to avenging force. In the end, he hadn't just survived their betrayal. He'd turned it into a weapon, destroying their world with the very lies they'd used to deceive him. The mild-mannered teacher was gone. In his place stood a man who would never again be fooled, never again be weak. His new life awaited, built on the ashes of betrayal, stronger for the flames that had forged it. Epilogue. 5 years later, James Morrison stood at the podium in Harvard Business School's largest auditorium, addressing a packed crowd of MBA students. His book, The Price of Betrayal, Corporate Ethics and Personal Consequences, had become required reading in business ethics courses across the country. Actions echo through time, he began, his voice carrying authority earned through experience. 5 years ago, I was a high school history teacher who trusted too easily. Today, I'm here to teach you about the real cost of ethical failures in business. The presentation screen behind him displayed headlines about Preston Hayes' conviction for financial fraud and sexual harassment. 3 years in federal prison, followed by 2 years of house arrest. All assets seized, reputation destroyed, family lost. Mr. Morrison, a student raised her hand. Your book mentions that Preston Hayes attempted to rebuild his career. What happened? James clicked to the next slide, Preston's latest mugshot. 2 months ago, he violated parole by attempting to start a new company using a false identity. He's back in prison for another 5 years. After the lecture, James checked his phone. A message from Eleanor Hayes, now Eleanor Mitchell after reclaiming her maiden name. Thought you'd want to know. Preston tried contacting our children again. They sent his letters back unopened. Eleanor had transformed her experience into power. She'd started a foundation supporting workplace harassment victims, using her legal expertise to help others fight back. The millions she'd won in her divorce from Preston funded scholarships for women in business. James replied, How's the foundation? Growing. We're opening offices in 3 more cities. Your book continues driving donations. His phone buzzed with another notification, an alert about Olivia. He'd maintained surveillance on both her and Preston, ensuring they never recovered from their downfall. The article detailed Olivia's latest setback. After losing everything in Ohio, she tried starting over in different cities. But James's network of contacts, combined with the digital footprint of her affair, made employment impossible. She'd been fired from 6 jobs in 5 years when employers discovered her history. James opened his tracking app. Olivia's current location showed a small apartment in Detroit, where she worked as a waitress under her mother's maiden name. Her attempts to rebuild her marketing career had failed. No company would risk association with Preston Hayes' infamous mistress. His phone rang. Maya, the former Evergreen Solutions receptionist who'd helped expose the affair. She now ran her own successful HR consulting firm. James, just saw your Harvard lecture online. The students' faces when you showed Preston's latest mugshot. How's business? Booming. Companies are terrified of becoming the next Evergreen Solutions scandal. They're finally taking harassment seriously. After the call, James headed to his hotel suite. His speaking tour would continue for another month. New York, London, Tokyo. Corporate boards paid premium fees to hear him discuss ethics and consequences. His laptop showed a new email from Sarah Mitchell, another of Preston's victims. She'd become a powerful advocate for workplace safety, testifying before Congress about corporate harassment. James, Preston's former defense lawyer, contacted me. Apparently, Preston's writing a memoir, claiming he was the victim of a conspiracy. His publisher dropped it after I threatened legal action. James smiled coldly. Even in prison, Preston couldn't accept responsibility. His attempts to reshape the narrative always failed, crushed by the mountain of evidence James had gathered. A text arrived from Cassandra, now his wife of 3 years. Channel 7 just aired your interview. You were amazing. James and Cassandra had married in a private ceremony, their relationship built on the lessons of his past. She understood his transformation, supported his mission to expose corporate corruption. His phone buzzed again. A message from Olivia's mother. She tried calling home again. Her father still won't speak to her. The Chun family had never recovered from Olivia's disgrace. Their standing in the community, built over decades, shattered by their daughter's affair. They'd moved to another state, changed their phone numbers, severed all contact. James opened his laptop, checking the anonymous website he'd created. Evergreen's victims had evolved into a powerful resource for harassment survivors, with thousands of members sharing stories and support. New posts appeared daily. Preston Hayes tried contacting me from prison. Blocked. Olivia Morrison applied at our company under a fake name. HR caught it. Thanks to this site, I recognized the signs and reported my boss before he could harass anyone else. The site had spawned similar platforms, exposing other corporate predators. James's story had become a blueprint for fighting back against powerful abusers. His speaking schedule for the next year was fully booked. Fortune 500 companies competed for his time, eager to avoid becoming cautionary tales in his next book. The business world had changed, partly due to his efforts. Companies implemented stronger ethics policies. Boards scrutinized executive behavior. Harassment claims received serious investigation. James checked another notification. Preston's prison commissary account showed a balance of $1.47. The man who once commanded millions now begged family members for funds to buy toothpaste. A final message arrived. Olivia's latest job application, rejected by a Detroit marketing firm. His contacts had ensured her resume triggered automatic rejections at major companies nationwide. She tried therapy, claiming sex addiction and manipulation by Preston. She'd attempted rebranding herself as a cautionary tale on social media. She'd begged former colleagues for help rebuilding her career. Nothing worked. James's documentation of her betrayal followed her everywhere, a digital scarlet letter she could never erase. His phone rang. A producer from Netflix. Mr. Morrison, we're interested in adapting your book into a documentary series. Send the proposal to my agent, James replied. But I maintain creative control. After the call, he opened his safe and removed a thick file. Inside lay the original evidence: hotel receipts, bank statements, surveillance photos. Physical proof of betrayal that had launched his transformation. The mild-mannered teacher who discovered his wife's affair had become a powerful force for corporate accountability. His story inspired others to fight back against abuse of power. Preston Hayes, who'd once dominated boardrooms, now shared a prison cell with other white-collar criminals. His attempts to maintain control, to rebuild his image, failed against the overwhelming evidence James had gathered. Olivia, the ambitious executive who'd betrayed her marriage for advancement, served tables and lived in obscurity. Her dreams of corporate success lay shattered, destroyed by her own choices. Eleanor thrived, her foundation helping other women escape toxic workplaces. She turned her pain into purpose, her revenge into reformation of corporate culture. The story had expanded beyond personal betrayal to expose systemic corruption. James's documentation became a template for fighting powerful abusers. His methods trained new generations of corporate watchdogs. 5 years had transformed everyone. James, from teacher to influential author and speaker. Preston, from CEO to convicted felon. Olivia, from rising executive to anonymous server. Eleanor, from betrayed wife to powerful advocate. Maya, from receptionist to successful consultant. Sarah, from victim to congressional witness. Each transformation traced back to choices made in that crucial year. Trust betrayed, lies exposed, consequences delivered without mercy. James's tattoo, "Never forget, never forgive," had gained new meaning. It wasn't just about personal revenge, but about systemic change. His story taught others to recognize manipulation, document abuse, fight back effectively. His new book contract promised 7 figures. Speaking fees approached $50,000 per event. Corporate boards sought his guidance on ethics policies. The man who'd lost everything had gained something greater, influence to prevent others from suffering similar betrayal. His pain became power, his documentation became weapons, his revenge became revolution in corporate culture. 5 years hadn't softened his resolve. He maintained surveillance on Preston and Olivia, ensuring their actions haunted them forever. His network of contacts grew stronger, his influence expanded globally. James closed his laptop and prepared for tomorrow's lecture. Harvard Law School wanted him to discuss using documentation as legal evidence. Yale's Business School requested a series on corporate ethics. His phone showed one last notification, Olivia's latest social media post. 5 years ago, I made mistakes that destroyed my life. The consequences never end. James smiled coldly. She'd finally learned the lesson he'd set out to teach. Betrayal carries a price. Actions have consequences. Some mistakes can never be undone. The history teacher had become the maker of history, his story a warning to those who'd abuse power or betray trust. 5 years hadn't weakened his resolve. It had proven the effectiveness of his methods. The revolution he'd started would continue, changing corporate culture one exposed predator at a time. His documentation became template, his methods became standard, his story became legend. The price of betrayal remained constant, total destruction without mercy or forgiveness. James had ensured that lesson would echo through time, teaching future generations that actions truly do have consequences. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.